This is not a review of A Total War Saga Troy, and we will get into why that is. But first, I do want to say, if you're watching this video in the first 24 hours of Troy going live, that's this time zone up here, then you can get the game for free forever by claiming it on the Epic Store. Just go over there, you can claim it like I said in the first 24 hours, and then you'll have it free forever. And I know, Epic bad, etc. So if you are really against them and don't want to get it, and want to wait until it's released on Steam, it's okay, I get you. I just wanted to put it out there to make sure that you know that you can get the game for free in its entirety right now. And I do want to say here that I was given a pre-release code for Troy from Creative Assembly for review purposes, but this is in no way a paid or sponsored video, and of course I make videos for the benefit of you guys and not for the benefit of the companies making these games. Anyway, as you can infer from the title, I have some things to say about Troy. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into them. And if you want, you can skip to these time codes here if you want to get to a particular topic or if you're not interested in the other ones. So let's get to it. And we'll begin with the elephant in the room. Yes, A Total War Saga Troy is exclusive to the Epic Store for 1 year. That means you can't get it on Steam until 2021. Yep, the only way to play the brand new Total War game is by installing Tim Sweeney's foreign malware on your PC. That's a joke. The reasoning for this exclusivity was explained in a lengthy blog post by Creative Assembly, but I'll do my best to summarize all the corporate speak and provide you with a condensed version.
What inspired you to
put Troy exclusively on the Epic Games Store?
Money!
They can say what they like, but if it was really about getting in front of a different audience or a bigger audience, then it would have been in their best interest to launch on as many platforms as possible. I can see how the Epic deal allowing them to give away the game for free would be enticing. They still make money on the game, and it's of course a wonderful thing to do for your long-standing fanbase. I don't want to undercut that point. It is pretty sweet that we get the game in full for free, for a limited time. But you know what they say, if something's free, then you're the product. And the fact that Troy is pushing people to the Epic Store, as well as enticing them to sign up to Creative Assembly's emailing list for free content, and combined with Total War's history of offering buckets of post-launch DLC, it's hard to look past everything and just accept that this is all being done out of the goodness of CA and Sega's hearts, and that they just want to try something new and expand their audience. And overall, I just don't like exclusivity deals. I get why they exist, and personally I don't mind having to install another launcher to play a particular game. But speaking generally, I think it's anti-consumer and people should be free to choose where they want to play their games. I understand that exclusives are a quick and easy way to bring people to your platform, especially when you have the cash to throw around, but your install base should be primarily growing because your service is actually good. I don't think we need to refer to the Epic Store's list of missing features again, do we? Wrapping this point up, while I myself will play Troy on the Epic Store without personal issue, I understand those out there who would rather not. So please feel free to make your comments saying, wow, I thought this game wasn't coming out for another year. Don't worry, I'll still respond and I'll give you a heart while I'm at it. Next up, is Troy really done? I mean, what is done? In my mind, done is having all the content, features and mechanics in the game available at launch. And obviously that differs per game based on the expectations of the series. For Total War games, expectations are high, and they've been established through years of releases beginning way back in the early 2000s. Let's take another game for example, Call of Duty. It's also a series that's been around for the better part of 2 decades, with a very regular release cycle. If the next Call of Duty game came out and it didn't include an auxiliary mode like say Spec Ops or Zombies to go along with campaign and multiplayer, people would understandably be upset. There's been a bonus mode since World at War, and every game since then has included some sort of similar gameplay option. The expectation is there that something of the sort will be included. If you'll recall, this happened with Black Ops 4 when the game shipped without a campaign. People were not stoked about that one. So back to Troy and why we went on that little tangent. This game is launching without multiplayer. It's coming in a later update near the end of the year. It's also launching without any blood effects or even the purchasable DLC to enable them, I'll cover that more soon. The game also doesn't include naval battles, something that previous historical Total War games have had quite a focus on. There's DLC that's already been announced and is coming out weeks after the game's release. Like the game itself, it will also be free for a limited time. However, there's more that's been announced for the end of the year, and if I had to guess, I don't think we'll be so lucky to get that one for free also. People expect things like this to be in the game already. Players expect multiplayer. They expect to be able to play a game centered around military conflict to have blood in it. They expect announced content to be in the game at launch. To me, Troy feels incomplete. It's missing some key things that, frankly, I am surprised to not see with the game on launch. So like I said, this isn't a review, but don't worry, that will come, but only when all the content and mechanics are in the game that people expect, and you can pay money for it. But I do want to give some thoughts on the game, so I'm going to go through a simple list of things I like and things I don't. I love the visuals. The art style's defined, consistent, and at times it really takes your breath away. I love how the world map fades into drawing at the edges, and how unexplored terrain burns away as you start to unveil the surrounding lands and ocean. And while the animations for clumps of units are not great, the 1v1 fights are actually pretty impressive. And I really love the suspense you get from seeing your commanders battle it out when you go to use auto-resolve. That combined with the vague preview of how it's going to turn out really adds some tension to that mechanic. I like the sound design, particularly the UI and overworld effects. It's personal preference, but to me it sounds so crisp and satisfying to just click buttons and do things. I also really dig the music. It's an interesting mix of ancient tunes and electric guitar. An odd combination to be sure, but it works great.
Doing Hades' work.
Okay, we're going to start getting through these. Gameplay wise, I like the new resource system, I like the deity and motivation mechanics, I like the unique faction mechanics and find them quite creative, and I really like the diplomacy system, which has seen upgrades over Warhammer 2. Apparently it's been influenced from the one in Three Kingdoms, which of course I haven't actually got around to playing yet. There's more, but I don't want to start rambling. And besides those, the core Total War mechanics are here and are what you'd expect. I don't like how the real-time combat hasn't really seen any changes since the last couple of games. And coming from Warhammer 2 in particular, the lack of unit variety, special abilities, and more diverse unit, hero, and leader types really does feel like a step back. I know the time period is somewhat limiting, but I mean, they chose to do this, right? I don't like the lack of naval battles, I don't like the real-time battle UI, I think it's too in your face. I don't like the unit variety, especially coming from Warhammer 2, which has certainly spoiled me. And I don't like the fairly small map. Plus all that stuff I mentioned before about the exclusivity and missing features. I also want to briefly talk about who this game is for. Is it for new players to the series? Is it for long-time fans? Because from where I'm sitting, I don't really see why either of them would want to play this over Warhammer 2 or Three Kingdoms. Maybe because it's free? I don't know, it just seems odd. If you want your grand fantasy Total War, play Warhammer. If you want your grand historical Total War, go Three Kingdoms. Maybe it's for people who just really like the time period. I don't know, but looking at it all holistically, personally I think Total War really needs to get out of this yearly release cycle it's been in for the last wee while. They're saturating a niche that's pretty much only populated by themselves, and game quality looks to be taking a hit because of it, and from what I've seen it's not helping their public perception either. Everything I've read leans towards sentiment towards Troy not being very positive online, and I don't think that's just because of its storefront choices. And that brings us to the last point of why this isn't a review of Troy. Who would a review benefit on launch? The game is free, and you've probably made up your mind on whether you're going to grab it or not. Frankly, I'm really busy right now, and I think my time right now is better spent reviewing other titles, rather than giving a review on a game that's initially launching for free and is missing content that I consider critical to the game experience. Besides, who exactly is going to be spending money on Troy in the first couple of months? If you didn't get it for free in its launch window, I doubt you're going to be itching to pay money for it immediately after. And I will give it a full review, like I said. Once there's multiplayer, once it costs money and once Creative Assembly has shown their hand with their DLC plans in the first few months. Because with this Total War Access stuff and the Amazon's DLC, we obviously now know that Creative Assembly can do DLC packs for free. So if the upcoming Blood pack costs money, I'm going to be a bit disappointed. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video on Troy. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a regular formatted video. I just wanted to try something new and thought that this was a pretty good fit. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and who knows, maybe you do want to see more of it. Let me know. Again, appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.